Hello and welcome. I'm glad you're here. If you're here, you want to know how to do quiz corrections. When you do quiz corrections, you need to do the problem correctly and identify your mistake so that you don't make the same mistake again. I'm doing the quiz corrections this time, but you should copy them down and identify what you did wrong for each problem that you did wrong. In the first question, it says Joe will go to the swimming pool on 20 different days this month. A one-day pass to the pool is $2.25. A monthly pass to the pool is $30. How much money will Joe save by buying a monthly pass? First, we have to identify some important information. First, he's going to go to the pool on 20 different days. Next, we see that the one-day pass is $2.25, and a monthly pass is $30. The word save almost always tells us that we're going to be subtracting, and we'll be buying a monthly pass. So the first step is to find out how much money he will spend if he buys a one-day pass every day for 20 days. That's a situation where we will multiply. We're going to multiply because he's going to spend $2.25 on 20 different days. A reminder that when you multiply, you don't need to line up your decimal points and your place values, but your last place value or your last digit here does need to be lined up. We multiply with decimals the same way we multiply with whole numbers. And then in the original problem, because there were two decimal places, we also move this decimal point from the end of the zeros, and we move it 2 places to the left for $45. So if Joe goes to the pool on 20 different days and pays every day, he's going to spend $45. But if he buys a monthly pass, he can go more than 20 days and spend $30. So when we talk about how much he's saving, we subtract the $45 that he would spend, and we subtract the $30 it costs to buy a monthly pass. And what we see here is that he would end up saving $15 by buying the monthly pass. In question 2, it says Omari is creating a video for a class project. He has 3 clips to put together. One clip is 4 4/10 minutes long. The second clip is 19 35/100 minutes long. And the third clip is 5 73/100 minutes long. How long will the entire video be? So one of the key words I see is the word entire, which is another word for total. I also see the words put together. So that tells me that I'll be adding. So when we're adding, it's important that we line up our place values and our decimal points. Notice I'm using a 0 here in the hundredths place because this number doesn't have a hundredths. It doesn't have a digit in the hundredths number. So notice the place values are all lined up and the decimals are all lined up. Okay. So we add just like we do with whole numbers. the decimal place goes in the same position in the sum that it was with the add-ins. So 29 minutes and 48 hundredths is the total length of those video clips when put together. Rana needs 20.5 pints of blueberries to make jam. She picked 7 7/75 pints on Friday and 4 25/100 pints on Saturday. How many more pints does she need to pick? So I see these words, how many more? And that tells me that that's a subtraction problem, because I'm going to probably have a total and then part of a total, and I'll need to figure out what's left over to get to that total. My total's up here. This is my total. And these are parts. So because I have two parts, I first need to add the parts together. Just like in the previous example, your place values and your decimal points have to be lined up. So far, she has 12 pints. She needs 20.5 pints. So the 20.5 is the total, the 12 is how much she has, and to find out how many more pints, that means we need to subtract what we have from how much we want. Notice how we include the 0 here because the place values need to line up, just like the decimal points. So we subtract just like we would with whole numbers. And what we see here is this is how many pints she needs to get up to the the 20 pints and 20.5 pints. So correct answer here is A. In question 4, a scientist had 3/4 of a bottle of a solution. She used 1/6 of the solution in an experiment. How much of the bottle did she use? So if we think of this like a drawing, so that's the full bottle. She had 3/4. And then from this, she's using 1/6 of what she has. So if we take each of these little pieces and break them up into 1/6, we'll start to see how much she used. Another way to do that is to take the total amount that's left in the bottle and multiply by the amount that's left that she's going to use. So she's going to use 1/6 of the solution. And so that word of often means we're multiplying. So when we take 1/6 of the solution, we're multiplying 1/6 times 3/4, because 3/4 is how much was in the bottle at the start. When we multiply fractions, we multiply the numerators and the denominators. And if we have a chance to simplify, we always simplify. So she ended up using 1/8 of the bottle. Saying that another way, 1/8 of the bottle is 1/6 of the 3/4 that was there at the very beginning. In number 5, the world's smallest gecko is 3/4 of an inch long. An adult male western banded gecko is 7 1/3 times as long. How long is an adult male western banded gecko? So this keyword right here is a big one. It's telling us that we need to multiply 3/5 times 7 1/3. Because the western banded gecko is 7 1/3 times as long as the small gecko. So first, when we multiply, we need to make sure that we're using proper and improper fractions. So we convert the 7 1/3 into 22/3. We multiply the numerators, multiply the denominators, and then we rewrite the improper fraction as a mixed number. So we know that 12 goes into 60 5 times. So 12 times 5 is 60. So there's 6 left over out of the 12. And we would simplify that to 5 1/2. So we would make sure we put a label on that. So that would be 5 1/2 inches. In number 6, the quotient of 11 25/100ths divided by 2 5/10ths. So here are some key words here. The quotient is the answer to a division problem. First, what we want to do is we want to adjust this. Mathematicians don't like to divide by decimals if we can help it. So we're going to multiply 2 5/10ths by 10, and that's going to move the decimal point over one place. If we multiply this number by 10, we also have to multiply this number by 10. And we put the decimal point in its new location. So now we're going to now we're going to divide just like we do with whole numbers. So we know that 25 doesn't go into 1, and we know it doesn't go into 11, but it does go into 112. It goes in 4 times, and so that 4 goes over the 2. Four times 25 is 100. We subtract to get 120 to get 12. We bring down the 5. We know that 25 goes into 125 because that's just like money, $1.25. So we would need 5 quarters. So 25 goes into 125 5 times. We have a remainder of 0. So that means that 11 25/100ths divided by 2 1/2 is 4 1/2. And so the correct choice is. In question 7, we have to match the expression on the left with its value from one of these boxes. So there's a lot of different ways that we can go through this. One option is to start with the top example, find the answer, and make sure it matches up with one of these choices. You might also be able to look at some of these and tell that the answer is going to get bigger or the answer is going to get smaller, so that might help. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to start with the first example. So I'm going to multiply 1 8/10 times 9/10. I have 2 decimal places in my factors, so my product is going to be moved over. The decimal point in my product is going to be moved over 2 places. So that's one of the choices here. Next, if we have 1 8/10 divided by 9/10, just like in the last example, we multiply by 10, so we have the number 9. We multiply by 10 again, so we have the number 18. The decimal point goes over its new location. And here we see that 9 goes into 18 2 times, and there's no remainder. Next, we have 1 8/10 plus 9/10. Again, your decimal points and your decimal place values need to be lined up. The place value takes the same place that it had in the addends. So we have 2 7/10. And at this point, we know that 9/10 is going to go here because we've eliminated all of our other choices. But if we wanted to just be sure, we again would line up our place values. And we have 9/10 as our difference. In question 8, it says Marcel and his 8 friends have a snow shoveling business. Last season, they earned a total of $2,240.64. How much money did each friend make? So I know it's a money problem. And this word each is important because it usually tells me I need to divide a big amount into smaller pieces. So this is the big amount up here. And lots of people would probably pay attention to the 8, but they might not pay attention to Marcel. It says that Marcel and his 8 friends have a snow shoveling business. So that's not 8 people who are going to share the money. That's 9 people who are going to be sharing this money. So this is the total amount of money. There are 9 people who are going to share it equally. Again, it's 9 people because he has 8 friends, so all 9 of them have this business together. We know that 9 doesn't go into 2, but it goes into 22 2 times. So this 2 goes over the 2 from the 22. We subtract to get 4, and we bring down the next number, which is also a 4. 9 goes into 9 goes into 45 5 times. So it's got to go into 44 4 times. So 9 times 4 is 36. We subtract to get 8. We bring down the 0. So now we're taking 9 and we're seeing how many times it goes into 80. 9 times 9 is 81. So this has to be 9 times 8. So we have a remainder of 6. We have a remainder of 8. We bring down this 6. We know that 9 goes into 86 9 times. Nine goes into 54 6 times. We end with no remainder, which we love. The decimal point goes right up above its location at the beginning. And when we look over at our choices, we see that $248.96 is one of the options, and that's our correct choice. So what you'll be doing now is you'll be making sure you take notes on how to do the problems correctly. You'll be explaining to your teacher or to yourself or to a parent how you got each problem wrong. And then you'll be preparing for a retake possibly, or turning your corrections in. So talk to your teacher about how to do that. But this is how you do corrections for the mid-topic, topic 1 quiz.